Colorado trial considers whether the 14th Amendment disqualifies Trump. Some constitutional experts argue that a clause in the amendment should bar Donald J. Trump from becoming president again, but that view is far from universal among legal scholars. Now, the big story that they're not getting into in a lot of these articles, one article just said, the judge donated to liberals. Here's the tweet from Mike Davis. He says, new Denver district judge Sarah Wallace, a Democrat donor, commits reversible error by refusing to recuse from Trump January 6th case after donating to anti-Trump January 6th PAC. So let's just get to the specifics here. October 15th, 2022, Sarah Wallace donated to the Colorado Turnout Project, a political action committee formed to vote out Republicans who supported Trump on January 6, 2021. And quite literally, yes. Now, specifically in Colorado, but that's what they're saying. They say we formed shortly after Colorado Republicans refused to condemn the political extremists who stormed the Capitol on January 6. In fact, Republican Rep. Lauren Boebert even encouraged the violence. That's not true. She did not encourage violence. It's absurd. But that's what their argument is. And with those lies, the judge in this case has donated to this organization and is now overseeing the question of whether or not Trump should be removed. So, if you thought there was going to be a fair hearing on this one, you were wrong. Now, it may be, for political reasons, the judge can't just say Trump is off the ballot, but Michigan is next. And here's the best part. In Michigan, the challenge is not with Donald Trump. Someone sued the Secretary of State saying that Trump should be removed. And when Trump's lawyers tried to intervene saying like, hey, there's no insurrection here, they said, you have no standing. You are not party to this lawsuit. Now, that's a clever one. Next up is Minnesota. And I'll tell you what I think. I think some point next year, there is a strong probability that one state will unilaterally at the last minute take Trump's name off the ballot. And here's the important thing. I was mentioning this earlier on the Tim Pool Daily Show, my morning podcast. A lot of people are like, yeah, but where are they going to succeed with one of these things, right? Is it going to be a swing state and then like a Democrat district judge says, okay, Trump's off the ballot, but then the state challenges it and it's no. Imagine a state like California takes Trump's name off the ballot and then let's say Trump does win, but he loses the popular vote by 5 to 10 million votes. The Democrats are then going to say, see, look, Trump, how does he win the presidency but lose the popular vote by 10 million? And it's because in states with massive Republican populations like California, but they're so heavily Democrat, they can remove his name from the ballot. Trump doesn't get the general Republican votes in a decent amount. And then it looks like Trump did not actually win the popular vote because they've removed him. That's another game they might play, but I'm curious what y'all think.
All you need is one state. If you get one state, you have precedent, and then the other ones can go and follow suit. If they do that, I mean, we're so third world at that point. The fact that this is even being considered, this judge should be thrown off the case. You donate to a PAC that is focused. They're only focused on Boebert in Colorado, but they're actually focused on everybody with the mentality that Trump won the election. Anybody that's MAGA, they want out. Well, she donated money to it. She should be thrown so far off the case.
She says that she doesn't remember. I mean, that's the quote that Colorado Public Radio is running with, that she donated $100 and her justification was, well, I don't remember making that donation and I didn't know what the mission of this organization was.
Well, she's too stupid. She needs to fix it.
It doesn't seem like a great judge, right? This is questionable all around.
I think that's the point, though. Like, the substance of the case doesn't really matter. It's obviously that they're after Trump. They're looking at for any excuse they can come up with. So, I mean, I don't have a whole ton to add just because it's blatant and clear. And the idea that the American public accepts it is probably the thing that I have the most problem with is not just that this is happening. It's that people are so disengaged and uninterested or comfortable with this type of behavior. It means that the fundamental ideals that our country are founded on, people don't have any respect for them at all anymore.
No massive protests out there. No, nothing. Nobody's even talking about it.
I think you have to give credit to Jason Miller, who's with the Trump campaign, who was the one who was like, this is happening. This judge donated to this cause.
Right.
And it's one of the only quotes that I have seen circulated at all. I mean, this detail that she has donated, that she is essentially a biased judge from the beginning, and we know about it, and she was the one to decide, well, I'm not going to recuse myself, is crazy. And I think this is the type of case that they'll just try over and over again until something sticks. And if it's not this, if they run into 14th Amendment arguments, they'll shift to another claim against Trump.
Look, Trump's lawyers argued if they're even going to pursue this argument, Trump has to have been convicted under the federal statute pertaining to rebellion and insurrection, specifically created to deal with the 14th Amendment, and he has not been. They're doing it anyway. And already the judge said, no, it doesn't matter.
I think she should recuse herself from this case. And when it comes to him, it's like justice is blind. They do whatever they want to do. Nobody is protesting. Nobody is fighting against it or anything. It's time for people to stand up and stop being afraid. We got to stick together. We got to fight through this, because if they could do that to him, then which one of us is next?
Oh, worse than that, right? What they can do to Trump, they can do to you tenfold.
They'll just come and shoot us in the head.
The New York Times says Judge Wallace has laid out 9 topics to be addressed at the trial, which is scheduled to last all week. They include whether Section 3 of the 14th Amendment applies to presidents, what engaged and insurrection mean under that section, whether Mr. Trump's actions fit those definitions, and whether the amendment is self-executing. In other words, whether it can be applied without specific action by Congress, identifying whom to apply it to. So the 14th Amendment, Section 3, specifically says representative or member of the Senate. It specifically says elector of the president or vice president. And then it says, and may not hold office, civil or military. And so the argument people are making is that the reason why Section 3 outlines the exact elected positions and then says civil office is because it views a distinction. Civil office meaning a bureaucratic job you're appointed to, whereas the other positions you're elected to. So it would seem their argument is, well, Trump can be president because president isn't specifically addressed here. But that's a tough question, because I don't know if civil office, I'm not going to sit here and say the silly argument from the left. They say, a well-regulated militia means government regulation, when it's not what regulated meant back then. Back then, regulated meant like well-equipped and properly armed with clean materials. And so perhaps civil office meant something specific back then. It doesn't mean today. I guess we're going to hear. But regardless of this, I think it's absolutely silly to be having the hearing at all.
Yeah.
The fact that when it came to 2020, the majority of the lawsuits coming from Trump were dismissed on standing and not the merits.
Right.
And then you see a case like this where there's literally no merit whatsoever, but they hold it anyway. Come on. The legal system is well, I'll put it this way. I'm not so convinced as to say the legal system is completely broken, but Republicans don't file lawsuits anyway, so we wouldn't know.
No, we just sit back and get destroyed every single time. We're weak and we let them run all over us. You're talking about definitions. They don't care about definitions. They write the rules. They rewrite them if they don't work for them. They don't care. We make the third world look like beautiful right now. What they're doing to us, it's ridiculous. So I don't think we stand a chance against this kind of stuff unless we get smart and get smart quick.
As long as Ronna McDaniel is running the RNC.
She should be fighting this. What's she doing? Getting more Botox or something? I mean, it's a joke.
It is unconscionable that not only is she still in her position, but Donald Trump was talking positively about her just the other day. And I don't know what is wrong with that man to not see that 2 elections were run absolutely horribly. The Democrats absolutely outworked the Republicans. They made the Republicans look like fools, and it was the significant portion of it was ground game. I believe that Donald Trump would have won in 2020 had it not been for the Republicans being so bad at their job, because they let the Democrats change the laws in Pennsylvania.
No. In Pennsylvania, they were in on it. In Pennsylvania, the Republicans teamed up with Democrats to change the rules in violation of their own constitution.
Well, and Ron McDaniel knows, and Trump knows this too, that the RNC needs Trump way
I don't believe
more.
Trump knows things.
I think we have to look back at the debate, right? Ron McDaniel puts out this first statement being like, it would be a mistake to miss the debate. This is a bad idea, but they know they need Trump to bring in the viewership. That's how they are going to generate money off of this.
Fundraising.
Right. I mean,
every fundraising email is get your Trump gold card. And then you look at the bottom and it's always the RNC, That money doesn't go to Trump. It goes to her and her sick people that run that place.
They know they need him on so many levels. And I wish that Trump would do more to hold him accountable to that.
They need him so much more than
Republicans on the state level need the RNC to be better at organizing. I don't know that Trump's supporters who, would follow him into a burning building necessarily would turn out for every single person he endorses with the same enthusiasm. Yeah. And that's actually what the RNC needs to get serious about, in my opinion. You've been on the campaigns longer than I have. But.
Yeah, it's just a lot of times the RNC just ignores the campaign. You see people, I think you're going to have J.R. Majewski on later this week. He got screwed by these people. I mean, they don't take the time to actually work with the good candidates. They work with the candidates that are going to be amenable to what they need them to do, which is go with the status quo, go along with what gets along, kick back your money to us so that we have our funded operation. It's all a money game and it's all a joke.
It's like the GOP is in competition with the Libertarian Party for the most useless party in America.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
And I think there's just a cultural misunderstanding. I think, they are definitely not the counterculture anymore, but for all the years the DNC said, we're the oppressed ones, we're the counterculture, come volunteer with us, be active with us. I mean, it did translate into people who are willing to knock on doors and to be more active on a grassroots level. RNC says grassroots, but I don't think it actually has strong organizations. And I know the argument, rural versus whatever.
No,
but,
I don't think that it's about
true.
that. I think that the temperament of people that are conservative, it's harder to get them to be activist types. I think that you see people that are progressives or that are upset with the status quo. It's far easier to motivate people like that to get out and do things, have a ground game, be activists. The people that are Republicans or conservatives that tend to be kind of activists, they tend to do things with like their church or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whereas the left, it's homeless shelters and food not bombs and that kind of stuff
too. I mean, we have risks. Yeah. Like you go out and you put yourself out as a conservative. You live in an urban area. She can tell you she gets more death threats than anyone I know. It's ridiculous what we go through. So we can't run around. All of us don't have the bravery to say, yeah, I'm a conservative. Yeah, I'm going to go organize. No, you might get really hurt.
Well, I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that conservatives tend to be cowards.
Yeah.
Well, not this one, because last year, anytime, every day, I'm very vocal, very bold, and I'm out there. And what I saw last year from a lot of candidates that really put their heart out there, the soul, gave it everything they had, ran on that American First platform, we got like no support from the party.
That is unconscionable, and it's not a surprise. You look at people like Scott Pressler, who's probably the most effective conservative activist when it comes to actually getting people to vote and getting people registered. And I can't understand why the RNC and Ronna McDaniels aren't like giving this guy every single bit of help that they could possibly muster for him. He's effective.
I think it's twofold, though. They'd have to admit that they are doing something wrong and they need him, and there's an ego and pride there they don't want to. But also the RNC, has its own behind the scenes politics. I think about when Larry Elder challenged Gavin Newsom in the recall, right? And the RNC, even though he emerged as the leader, the RNC did not give him the support they should have, right? And theoretically, that is one of the most important and I think under-talked about political battles that we had in recent history. And the RNC did not even give him the fighting support that he needed, in my opinion. There is a disconnect between what the voters want and what the administrative side of that wants. I mean, it is sad, but, to your point, they ultimately know where the money is. They know where the support is. That's why they invoke Trump's name when it's convenient to them.
And they like to be in the opposition because you raise more money if you can send an email that says, we're being screwed, they're going to kill us all, we're destroyed, Biden's ruining us, than if you talk about results. And it's sad, but it's true.
It's infuriating because that ineffectiveness and that desire to be the underdog is part of the reason why the whole of the culture is so run by the left. And it translates to all the anti-Semitism and stuff that's going on in college campuses now. If the Republicans gave people something to aspire to, the Republican Party, if they gave people something to aspire to, you wouldn't have the left dominating everywhere in our society. And the left does dominate every institution in our society right now. And it's starting to have real world consequences. And you're seeing it in the, case in point, all the anti-Semitism and all the people that hate the Jews and stuff that you see in college campuses.
Lavern, I'm curious what your experience is as a conservative. Were you always a Republican? How did you get to where you are?
Well, like I said, with the food bank, I always had to be vocal, get out there, rub elbows with the politicians. So what caught my attention, and I'm going to say it again, I always say it, so far as myself and so many other Black conservatives, was that when Trump said in 2020, why don't y'all run and take back your community, because they're not helping you anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what caught my attention, and that's when I decided to change and become a conservative.
And did your community react positively, negatively? I mean, did other Black conservatives decide they would support you?
Well, I didn't really care if they supported me or not. I don't give a damn about that. But so what really, I think that so far as my community, they don't give a damn, because they know when they need the help, they can come to me. I'm in the streets. I'm with the homeless. I'm with anybody that's hurting and need help. I'm there. But the community supported me, but it was just, with the Twitter page, people started coming after me, calling me all kind of derogatory names. And, the coons, and everything else that come along with that. And, I guess most of them didn't know exactly who they was talking to, but they quickly found out.
I like that response. I think that's really funny.
Because I think they thought I was going to be afraid, because they called me all the ugly names that would run me away from the party. So, no.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.